Okay, let's chat about those first moments after the alarm goes off, or when you naturally wake up. Do you tend to spring right out of bed? Or maybe, like many of us, you feel that bit of morning stiffness that makes getting going a little slower? You know, leaping straight into action isn't always the best idea for our bodies anymore. Our joints, especially if there's a touch of arthritis, really appreciate a gentler start. Plus, have you ever felt a bit lightheaded when you stand up too quickly? That's often due to a sudden drop in blood pressure, sometimes called orthostatic hypotension, and it can certainly increase the risk of losing your balance or even falling, which none of us wants. Think about my friend Eleanor. She deals with some arthritis in her knees, and she shared her wonderful little routine with me. She calls it her wake-up wiggle routine. Before she even considers putting her feet on the floor, she spends just 5 minutes doing gentle movements right there in bed. She does little bicycle kicks with her legs, nothing strenuous, just getting them moving. She rotates her ankles carefully, then her wrists. Eleanor absolutely swears by this, saying it significantly reduces her morning stiffness and makes tasks like getting dressed so much smoother. It really does help get the circulation going and prepares your muscles and joints for activity. So, here's something simple you can try tomorrow. While you're still tucked in, just begin with your feet. Gently flex and point your toes several times. Slowly rotate your ankles in circles, both directions. Do the same for your wrists. Then, carefully bring one knee up towards your chest, hold for a second and lower it. Repeat with the other leg. If it feels good, you could even do some very slow, gentle neck rolls, just easing out any kinks. The main thing is to keep the movements slow, gentle, and controlled. It's just about easing your body awake, not a workout. Give it a go. It might make a surprising difference to your morning. My old bridge partner, Sylvia, used to dread the winter months something awful. She'd get really down in the dumps, low energy, just not herself. We used to call it her winter blues. For years, she struggled with it. Then, one day, her doctor mentioned something simple: getting more natural light first thing in the morning. You see, our bodies have this internal clock. They call it the circadian rhythm. It runs everything from when we feel sleepy to when we feel hungry, even our mood. Natural daylight, especially that morning light, acts like winding up that clock. It tells your brain, okay, time to wake up, time to get going. It helps produce serotonin, which lifts your spirits, and vitamin D, which we all know is important. Without that morning signal, our internal clock gets confused. That can mess up our sleep later on and really contribute to feeling low, especially when the days are shorter. Sylvia found that out firsthand. So, what did Sylvia do? Nothing complicated. She just started making it a habit to throw open all her curtains the minute she got out of bed. Even on gray, cloudy days, she'd make her morning tea and sit right by the biggest, sunniest window in her kitchen for about 10 or 15 minutes. No sunglasses, just letting the light in. And you know what? It made a world of difference for her mood and energy levels through the winter. So, that's my tip for you. As soon as you wake up, let that daylight in. Open the blinds, pull back the curtains. If you can, step out onto the porch or balcony for a few minutes, or just sit near a bright window. You might be surprised how much better it makes you feel. It's such a simple thing, but it really helps set your body and mind up for a better day. You know, some mornings can just feel like a bit much before they've even properly started. You wake up, and already the mind is racing with what needs doing, perhaps worrying a little about aches, appointments, or just the general hustle. It's easy to get swept up, but letting that morning stress take hold day after day isn't doing our health any favors. Chronic stress, even the low-grade kind, puts a strain on our cardiovascular system. It can lower our immunity, making us more susceptible to bugs, and it doesn't help keep our minds sharp. Starting the day feeling frazzled just sets a negative tone. It reminds me of Frank from down the street. Lovely fellow, but he always seemed to be rushing about in the mornings, looking quite flustered before 9 a.m. His daughter suggested something simple. Dad, after your first glass of water, before anything else, just sit quietly for 2 minutes. She suggested he just sit, maybe close his eyes, take a few slow, deep breaths. Really feel the air filling his lungs and then letting it out slowly. And maybe think of one small thing he felt grateful for. Well, Frank tried it, probably just to humor her, but he told me later, quite surprised himself, how much it settled his nerves. He said it made him feel less agitated and calmer right through the morning rush. See, it doesn't require a lot of time. It's about intentionally creating a small pocket of calm, a moment of mindfulness before the day's demands begin. It helps reset your nervous system, reducing those stress hormones, and allows for greater mental clarity. So, here's some practical advice. Why not try it yourself? Find a comfortable spot tomorrow morning, your favorite armchair, or even just sitting on the edge of your bed. Set aside just 2 to 5 minutes. Focus gently on your breathing. Notice the sensation of the breath coming in and the feeling as it goes out. Nice and slow, you don't need to empty your mind completely. Instead, you could bring to mind something simple you appreciate, the warmth of your cup, the sound of birds, a kind word someone shared. Or set a simple, positive intention, like I'll take things one step at a time, or I will be kind to myself today. Or simply observe your breath moving in and out without judgment. It's a small habit, but it can really help set a positive, calmer tone for everything that follows. Give it a try. Alright, let's move on to how we fuel ourselves first thing in the morning. What you eat for breakfast really sets the tone for your entire day. It's so tempting to reach for something quick and sweet, like those colorful cereals, or maybe a pastry or just toast with jam. They taste good for a moment, but what often follows is a big energy slump right around 10 or 11 o'clock. That's your blood sugar crashing after the initial spike. It leaves you feeling tired, maybe fuzzy-headed, and often craving more sugar. Doing this day after day can contribute to weight gain, and it increases our risk for things like type 2 diabetes, which many of us watch out for. What our bodies really need, especially as we age, is sustained energy. That's where protein and fiber come in. Protein helps us feel satisfied longer, and it's vital for keeping our muscles strong, helping fight off age-related muscle loss. Fiber, well, we know it's good for digestion, but it also helps keep blood sugar steady. Think about my walking buddy, George. He's nearly 80. For years, his go-to breakfast was a sugary sweet roll. He'd be lagging by the time we finished our walk. He swapped that roll for scrambled eggs with spinach, or some days he has proper oatmeal with nuts and berries. George told me it was a revelation. His energy levels are much more even throughout the morning, no more slump. It shows how powerful a simple change can be. So, what can you do? Try building your breakfast around protein and fiber. Good options include eggs, plain Greek yogurt, cottage cheese, or adding nuts and seeds. For fiber, think whole grains like rolled oats, plus fruit or even some vegetables. Steer clear of sugary drinks like juice first thing, and give processed breakfast bars a miss. It doesn't need to be complicated, just focus on real, balanced food to start your day strong. Okay, let's talk about starting our mornings right. First off, think about water. Our bodies get quite dehydrated overnight, leaving us feeling sluggish and fuzzy-headed. My neighbor, Arthur, 81, used to feel groggy until his first coffee. Now, he keeps water by his bed and drinks it right when he wakes up. He says it perks him right up. Maybe try putting a glass out tonight. Then there's movement. Take my friend Barbara, 75. She used to wake up so stiff, but even 5 minutes of gentle stretching gets blood flowing and eases stiffness. Skipping this makes aches feel worse. Barbara started doing simple stretches sitting on her bed, and it made a huge difference. Find a few gentle movements that feel good, even wiggling your toes counts. Next up, light. Getting natural light soon after waking is important. I read about George, 79, who fell down in winter. His doctor realized his sleep cycle was off because George kept curtains drawn till late morning. Our bodies need morning sunlight to set our internal clock for good sleep and mood. So, open your curtains right away. Step outside for a few minutes if you can. That light tells your body it's daytime. And how about a little calm? Starting the day rushed feels awful, doesn't it? Taking just a couple of minutes for quiet reflection or deep breathing grounds us and helps manage stress, which affects heart health. My sister Carol, 72, used to get riled up by the morning news first thing. Now, she sits quietly with her tea for 5 minutes first, just breathing. Try sitting quietly for a few moments before the day begins. Finally, let's not forget proper fuel. Consider Mr. Henderson, nearly 90. He wonders why he has no energy by 10 a.m. after just toast and jam. Breakfast is crucial for energy and blood sugar. Simple carbs lead to that mid-morning crash. We need protein and fiber to sustain us. Try adding an egg, some yogurt, or oatmeal with nuts. It doesn't have to be fancy, just balanced. So there you have it. 5 simple morning rituals science suggests can add healthy years. It's not about drastic changes, but conscious choices when we wake up. Starting with hydration, gentle movement, light, calm, and proper fuel sets a positive foundation. These small steps, done consistently, become powerful habits for a longer, healthier life after 65. Give 1 or 2 a try this week, see how you feel. Well, there you have it. Just a few thoughts on how starting the day right can really set the tone, especially for us folks getting on a bit. It's not about doing everything perfectly every single morning, goodness knows I don't. It's more about finding those little rituals, those small habits that make you feel grounded and ready. Remember, consistency is lovely, but kindness to yourself is paramount. If one morning all you manage is a quiet cup of tea by the window, like I did yesterday because my hip was playing up, that's perfectly alright too. The main thing is tuning in to what your body and mind need on that particular day. It's a journey, this aging well business, not a race. I truly believe we learn so much from each other, don't you? We've all gathered a fair bit of wisdom over the years, and sharing it helps everyone navigate this chapter a little better. So, I'd be absolutely delighted if you'd share your own morning routines or perhaps one healthy habit you swear by. What helps you get going in the morning? Is it a particular stretch, a type of breakfast, maybe listening to the birdsong? Pop it down in the comments below. Let's get a conversation going and learn from each other's experiences. Your tip might be just the thing someone else needs to hear today. Building these little habits takes time, and we'll be exploring more ways to live well and stay vibrant together in future videos. If you found this chat helpful and you'd like to hear more tips and perhaps share a few laughs along the way, do consider subscribing to the channel. Just click that little subscribe button, maybe the bell too, so you don't miss our next get together. I think next time we might talk a little bit about keeping our minds sharp. Always a useful topic, wouldn't you agree? Thank you ever so much for spending this time with me today. It really is a pleasure sharing this space with you. Until next time, take good care of yourselves, stay curious, and keep finding joy in the everyday. Bye for now. Have you ever really sat down and thought about what healthcare might actually cost you down the road, even with Medicare supposedly having your back? It's something many of us put off thinking about, isn't it? But what if I told you that relying solely on Medicare could leave you facing some truly eye-watering bills when you least expect it? That security we planned for might not be as solid as we hope if we don't face this head-on. Today, we're going to talk frankly about a tough subject, the surprising healthcare costs that can sneak up on us in retirement. We'll explore the reality that Medicare simply doesn't cover everything. Things like routine dental work, getting new glasses or hearing aids, and especially the big one, long-term care, can drain your savings faster than you can say, fixed income. Understanding these potential costs isn't about fear, it's about gaining control, protecting your hard-earned nest egg, and ensuring your comfort and peace of mind for the years ahead. It's about maintaining your freedom and well-being without constant financial worry. Hello there, I'm so glad you're tuning in. You know, my dear friend George, a spry fellow just turned 70, had a bit of a tumble last year. Nothing too serious initially, he thought, but the specialized care he needed wasn't fully covered, and the bills piled up quickly, causing him no end of stress. It was a real wake-up call for him, and for me too. In this video, we'll look at what Medicare often misses and discuss practical steps you can take to prepare, like looking into supplemental insurance and planning realistically. If you find this information helpful today, please give this video a little thumbs up, it really helps others find it. And do consider subscribing if you'd like more chats like this about navigating our golden years wisely. Now, let's talk about something many folks don't anticipate fully before retirement. You picture endless relaxation, perhaps traveling or pursuing hobbies you never had time for. But sometimes, all that sudden freedom, all that unstructured time, can feel less like a gift and more like, well, a vast, empty space. Take my neighbor Eleanor, for instance. She was a wonderful teacher for over 30 years, absolutely loved her job and the children. When she retired, she expected pure bliss. Instead, she confessed to me over coffee one afternoon that the first year was surprisingly difficult. She felt quite lost without the school bell dictating her day, without the chatter of the staff room, and she deeply missed the sense of purpose the children gave her. Eleanor's experience isn't unique. You see, for many of us, Our jobs provide so much more than just a paycheck. They give us structure for our days, regular social connection, and frankly, a big part of our identity. Losing all that at once can leave you feeling adrift, profoundly bored, or even slide into feeling quite low or depressed if you're not careful. It's a real predicament, this challenge of finding new purpose when the old one vanishes. That's why my best advice is to think about this before you retire, if possible. Really dig deep and ask yourself, what truly interests you? What have you always wanted to do or learn? Then make a loose plan to actually pursue those things. Maybe it's joining the local history society, taking that pottery class you saw advertised, or volunteering for a cause you believe in. Perhaps even finding some part-time work you genuinely enjoy, on your own terms this time. The key is to gently build a new rhythm for your days. Nothing too rigid, of course, but having activities and connections to look forward to each week makes all the difference. It replaces that potential feeling of being lost with a positive sense of anticipation. Now, here's something that can really catch you off guard in retirement if you're not watching it. Inflation. It sounds like a big economic term, but really, it just means that the money you saved so carefully might not stretch quite as far down the road as you planned. My old friend Frank, bless his heart, was grumbling just last week about this very thing. He's on a fixed pension, you see, and he was saying how the cost of his weekly shop has gone up noticeably. Even his utility bills seem to climb every year. What used to cover everything comfortably now feels tight, and he's having to make choices he didn't expect. His story isn't unusual. The simple fact is, the price of almost everything, from a loaf of bread and a gallon of gas to housing costs and even hobbies, tends to creep up over time. A nest egg that feels perfectly adequate today could leave you short in 10, 15, or 20 years if it doesn't keep pace. Ignoring this can mean having to cut back significantly later on, which isn't what any of us want after a lifetime of working and saving. So, what's the practical approach here? First, when you're doing any kind of financial planning, even just budgeting for next year, try to account for rising costs. Don't assume today's prices are tomorrow's prices. A good rule of thumb is to factor in a small percentage increase each year. Second, make it a habit to review your budget regularly. Maybe sit down every 6 months or once a year and see how your actual spending compares to your plan and where inflation might be hitting you hardest. Finally, consider talking to a financial advisor you feel comfortable with. They can explain options for helping your savings grow, even if it's just modestly and safely, to counteract inflation's bite and protect your purchasing power over the long term. Now, let's talk about something really important that often changes in retirement, and that's our relationships. It catches a lot of folks by surprise. You spend decades working, seeing your spouse maybe in the evenings and on weekends, and suddenly, boom, you're both home, all day, every day. That shift requires a major adjustment, believe me. It changes the whole dynamic. Finding a new rhythm, respecting each other's space while still enjoying the extra time together, it isn't always straightforward. If you're not careful, it can lead to friction, just from being in each other's pockets too much. And it's not just about partners. Many of us find that work was a huge part of our social life. Losing the daily connection with colleagues can leave a big gap, potentially leading to feelings of isolation if we don't actively seek out other connections. I remember my friends Betty and Tom, lovely couple, both retired around the same time. They were so excited initially, but it wasn't long before they found themselves getting on each other's nerves. Little things started to grate. Tom wanted to chat constantly while Betty just wanted to read her book in peace. They hadn't anticipated how much adjustment being together 24/7 would actually take. They realized they needed to find a new balance between we time and me time. So, what can you do? First and foremost, communication is absolutely key. Sit down with your partner and have an honest conversation about how you both envision this new phase. Talk about expectations for time together and time apart. Don't assume you're on the same page. Make a conscious effort to maintain your friendships outside the home too. Schedule those coffee dates, phone calls, or group activities. And definitely keep nurturing your own individual interests and hobbies, alongside the things you enjoy doing as a couple. It gives you both necessary breathing room and, frankly, makes you more interesting company for each other. Let's talk about something many of us face eventually: downsizing. Moving out of a home you've poured years, maybe decades, of your life into. Well, it's more than just sorting boxes, isn't it? It's an emotional ringer. That house isn't just bricks and mortar, it's filled wall to wall with memories. Going through everything can be surprisingly tough, not just physically lifting things, but emotionally. It brings up all sorts of feelings, nostalgia, maybe even a bit of grief for times gone by. It catches many people off guard just how deeply it affects them. Take my dear friend Jane, for example. When she had to move to a smaller place, the physical sorting wasn't her main struggle. It was the memories tied to everything. Every little knick-knack, every photograph represented a piece of her life she felt she was losing. Deciding what to keep and what to let go of was incredibly difficult for her, purely because of the emotions involved. So, if you know downsizing might be coming up for you, please, take my advice, start early. Much earlier than you think you need to. Don't try to do it all at once. Tackle it bit by bit, maybe one room or even just one cupboard at a time. If your family can help, invite them over. Sharing the stories behind your possessions can actually be a wonderful experience for everyone. For cherished things you simply don't have space for, take photos. Keep the memory, even if you can't keep the item, and try to focus on the positive side of things, the ease and freedom that a smaller, more manageable home can bring. That can really help you navigate the process. One thing that can really sneak up on you after retiring, or perhaps losing a spouse, is feeling isolated. It's more than just being alone, it's a deeper loneliness that can affect your mood and health. Ignoring our need for connection can lead to depression, anxiety, and impact memory. Take my neighbor, Martha, 82. After her husband passed, she stopped going to her book club and barely answered the phone. Her daughter noticed she seemed withdrawn. If you feel isolated, please reach out. Call an old friend or look into local senior centers or volunteer groups. Even a small connection makes a difference. I remember my friend George, 75. He always insisted on climbing the ladder to clean his gutters, though his balance wasn't great. We warned him. Sure enough, he fell. Thankfully just a broken wrist, but it was a wake-up call. George's story shows our bodies change. It's not weakness to admit limitations. Pushing too hard risks falls, injuries, and losing independence. Be honest about your capabilities. If a task feels risky, find safer ways or ask for help. Install grab bars, use a walking stick, or hire help for tricky jobs. Adapting is smart living. Let's talk money. In retirement, many are on a fixed income, meaning careful budgeting. Unexpected costs, like car repairs, can cause real stress. Consider Betty, 70, who loved treating her grandkids. She realized frequent dinners out were straining her budget, causing anxiety about making ends meet. The fixed income reality hit hard. It helps to make a realistic budget. Track your expenses. Look for ways to trim costs without sacrificing joy. Maybe potlucks instead of restaurants or free community events. Seeking advice from a financial planner familiar with retirement can also ease money worries. Okay, so we've talked through some tough realities today, haven't we? It's not always sunshine and golf courses in retirement, and ignoring the potential bumps in the road is a mistake. Many folks underestimate just how much money they'll truly need. Inflation keeps nibbling away, healthcare costs seem to only go up, and unexpected things always happen. It's not about scaring you, it's about being prepared. I remember my neighbor George thought he had it all figured out, but a leaky roof and a surprise medical bill really threw a wrench in his plans those first couple of years. So, getting a realistic handle on your finances is absolutely step one. And it's not just about the money, is it? Adjusting to life without the structure of work can be surprisingly tricky. Finding new routines, staying connected, and feeling purposeful takes effort. It's a big shift in identity for many. My friend Martha, bless her heart, retired from teaching and felt completely lost for the first 6 months. She missed the kids, the schedule, everything. It took her joining a book club and volunteering at the local library to find her footing again. She had planned her finances perfectly, but hadn't really thought about how she'd fill her days or replace that social connection. We need to plan for our time and our social lives just as carefully as we plan our budgets. Thinking about aging well goes beyond just having enough saved up too. It's about staying active both physically and mentally and nurturing relationships. My own retirement plan looked great on paper, honestly. But what really made the difference wasn't the pension check, it was rediscovering old hobbies and making new friends. I started going for walks with a group from the community center. At first, it was just for the exercise, you know. But soon, we were grabbing coffee afterwards, sharing stories, helping each other out with errands. One fellow, Bill, taught me how to use that darn smartphone properly. Another, Sarah, got me into gardening. These connections, this activity, this is what makes retirement rich, more than any stock portfolio. It keeps your mind sharp and your spirits up, which, let me tell you, is priceless when you face those inevitable challenges. So, those are just a few things to chew on. Planning for retirement means looking at the whole picture, the money, yes, but also how you'll live, how you'll connect, how you'll stay engaged. It's about facing the realities, good and bad, with open eyes. I hope sharing some of these thoughts, maybe even some harsh truths, helps you on your own journey. If you found this helpful, give it a thumbs up, maybe subscribe if you haven't already. And please, share your own experiences or questions in the comments below. We can all learn from each other. Thanks for watching, take care, and plan wisely.